Assalamu alaikum, kids. So today we are going to do another prerequisite for your O levels physics. All right. Again, this goes for A levels as well because significant figures is important there. Now, previously we did standard form, then we did prefixes. Now we are going to do significant figures. All right. So your significant figures are what? Significant figures are basically a measure of your accuracy. The larger the number of significant figures, the more accurate or close to the true value your measurement is going to be. All right, so we are going to talk about all the numbers that are only to the left of the decimal place, or basically we are going to talk about whole numbers right now. Okay, so 7.5, no, we're just talking about 87, 21,000, these values, all right, which do not have any decimal places. So the first rule, all non-zero digits are significant. So 235, you have 2, 3, and 5. All three of them are significant figures. Then we have all zeros in between non-zero digits. So you have 2, you have 3 in between, you have 2 zeros. Both of these zeros, they are going to be significant as well. Then you have all non-zeros after the non-zero digits and they are insignificant. So you have a 0 between 2 and 3. This is significant. But the 0 after the 5, both of them are not significant. All right. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 significant figures only. Now, the goal is to make sure that your answers are to the correct number of significant figures. You don't have to count. You just have to make sure that your answers are either at 2 or 3 significant figures, depending on the question. So next we have rules for numbers that have decimal places. All right. So again, all non-zero digits are significant. So 0.345, you have 3, you have 4, you have 5. All of them are significant. Then we have all zeros in between non-zero digits. So they're significant again. So the 0 in between 3 and 4. The 0 in between 4 and 5. Both of them, this one right here and this one right here, they are both again significant. Then we have all zeros before the non-zero digit. They are insignificant. So both of these zeros, they are insignificant. Why? Because they are behind or before the first non-zero digit. Then we have all zeros after the last non-zero digit, but these are going to be significant. All right. So the zeros before the 3, insignificant, but the zeros after the 5, they are significant. Again, the reason for that, we don't want to get into that mess right now. All you need to know is last non-zero digit to the right of the decimal place. As many zeros you have, all of them are significant. All right. So let's take a look at some examples on how you are supposed to convert two or three significant figures, because that's what your answer is going to be at. So you have this number right here, 236,700. Now 236,700, if I want to convert this to two significant figure, I want to figure out what the second is. So 2 is my first significant figure, and then I have 3, which is my second significant figure. All right, so 3 is my second significant figure. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to check whether the number or the digit after 3, is it greater than 5 or less than 5? So I know that 6 is going to be greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to the 3. I'm going to make everything after that 0. So 2, 4, and then everything else becomes 0. So your final answer to two significant figures is 2, 4, and then 4 zeros after that. Let's say, for example, you have 236,300 and you want to make this correct to three significant figures. All right, that's easy. Again, my third significant figure is 1, 2, and 3. So that's 6. I have that highlighted over here. So 6 is your third significant figure. Now, is the digit after 6, which is 3, is it greater than 5 or less than 5? It's less than 5. So I'm going to make everything after my third significant digit, I'm going to make everything 0. So I've got 2, 3, 6, and then I'm going to make everything else become 0. So 0, 0, 0. All right. So that's how you're going to. So essentially we are rounding down over here. So your final answer is going to become 236 and then 3 zeros after that. All right. So I hope that all of that made sense. Okay, so now let's take a look at some examples which have whole numbers and decimal places as well. So let's say, for example, you have this 4, 5, 6, 7 in front of you. Now let's assume that we are converting everything to 2SF. So my second significant figure is 5. And after the 5, I have a digit that's greater than 5. So I'm going to convert this how? I'm going to say 4. And then I add 1 to my second significant figure. So that's 6, and then 2 zeros after that. So everything after rounding off becomes 0. I have 1, 2, 3, and 7. So again, my first significant figure is 1. My second significant figure is 2. After 2, I have a less than 5. So I'm going to write 1 and 2. 2 this time stays unchanged. Why? Because the digit after that is less than 5. And then I'm going to just add zeros. I have 8, 7, 6, 4. So again, first, second, this one is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to the 8. Sorry, 1 to the 7. That's going to become 8. So 8, 8, and then followed by 2 zeros. Then I have 9, 0, 2, 3, 5. So again, my second significant figure. After that, I have a less than 5. So I'm going to make everything, all of these 3 digits become 0. So it's going to become 90,000 at 2 significant figures. Then I have 2.35. So my first significant figure is 2. My second significant figure is 3. All right, my second significant figure is 3. After that, I have a less than 5. So I'm going to make these zeros. So my answer is going to be what? It's going to be 2, 3, and then 0, 0. Of course, there's a decimal point over here. Then I have 90.57. Again, my first significant figure, my second significant figure. The next is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1. And then I'm going to say just 91. Everything else becomes 0. But everything after the decimal place, again, it's significant. So I'm not going to add it. 91.000 will make it 5 significant figures, not 2. All right, so I'm not going to add these zeros. So that's a terrible mistake to make. The correct answer would be just simply 91, as my answer has to be to 2 significant figures. Then I have 120.89. So first significant, second significant. All right, that's 2. After that, I have a less than 5. So I'm just going to make it 120. Okay, then I have 3.079. So 3.079 is going to become what? Very simple. My first significant figure, the 0 after the or in between the non-zero digits. So it's in between 3 and 7. So that's going to be significant as well. So the 0 is significant. So 3.0, and then next you have a greater than 5. All right. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to add 1 to the 0. So it's going to become 3.1. Now, again, like we discussed over here, you should not add the remaining zeros. Why? Because they are significant numbers. All right. So this right here would be wrong. The correct answer would be just 3.1. Okay. So this right here would be the correct one. This right here would be the correct one. Next, we have 2.993. So my first significant figure, my second significant figure. The next is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1. So if I add 1 to 9, it's going to become 0. All right. So it's going to become 10. So I carry the 1 to the next digit. So this right here is going to become plus 1 as well. So the 2 becomes 3. The 9 becomes the 0. And 3.0 is going to be the answer. Now, if you write it as 3, that's going to be wrong. All right. So it's 3.0 and not 3. So I'm going to show you some numbers. All right. So what I want you to do is, I want you to pause the video here and I want you to attempt these on your own. And then I'm going to put the correct answers in front and check if you're getting the correct answers or not. All right. So the first one, it's going to become 1.5. All right. The second one, it's going to become 2.7. My second significant figure here is 1 and 2. So the 6 is the second significant figure. So it's going to be 0.0057. All right. Then I've got 0.023. So the second significant figure is 3. After that, it's less than 5. So it just stays 0.023. Again, I'm not going to write the zeros after the decimal place. So I'm writing the zeros over here before the decimal place. I'm writing the zeros. If my number is a whole number, I'm writing the zeros because these zeros are after the last non-zero digit, so they are insignificant. So writing them, my answer is still at two significant figures. But if I add, so I have 2 and 3, and then I have 0 and 7. Of course, these are going to become zeros. And if I write them, now my answer is not at 2, it's at 4 significant figures because the last two zeros, they are significant. All right, so I'm not going to write them. This is something that you need to remember. So 0.122, 2 is my second significant figure. After that, it's less than 5. So my final answer becomes 0.012. Then I have 0.037. So first and then second significant figure, it's already in two significant figures. So again, I don't need to make any change. 0.05. Now you only have one significant figure. The 0 is insignificant. This 0 is insignificant. So the 5 is the first significant figure. So I have to add the second significant figure myself. So this right here is going to become 0.050. So you're not supposed to check whether it's more than 5 or less than 5 because there is no next digit. So you need to put the next digit yourself. 9. Again, same problem. There is no next digit. 9 is the first significant figure. So you need to add the second significant figure yourself. Now you cannot put it as 90. All right. So the answer still has to be 9. So instead, you're going to say that this right here is 9.0. All right, 23 is at two significant figures, so it's going to stay 23. 7 becomes 7.0. 21 again is at 2SF, so I'm not going to change that. 56 is also again at 2SF. I'm not going to change that. So now this is a whole number. So I've got to write all 5 digits. Again, I can't write the zeros at the end. So my first and my second significant figure, the next is less than 5. So everything else becomes 0. So it's going to be 23 and then 3 zeros. 23 and then 3 zeros. All right. So I hope that so far everything is making sense. I have my first, my second non-zero digit. The next is greater than 5. The 9 is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to the 2 and then everything else becomes 0. So it's going to become 13,000. All right. Then I have 90,800. So again, my first and my second. The next is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1 to the 0. So it's going to become 91. And again, I'm going to write the remaining 3 zeros. Then I have got 0.00020. So my first and my second significant figure. Again, this is greater than 5. So I'm going to add 1. So my final answer becomes 0.30 and then 1. All right. So these were some basic ideas about significant figures that you need to remember. All right. So I hope that so far everything made sense and you understood everything well. Inshallah, kids, this is it for today, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care and bows out.